There was a time when Friday night meant one thing: getting in the car, driving to a blue and yellow store, walking past endless shelves of plastic cases, new releases on the wall, old favorites in the aisles, and the quiet panic that someone else might grab the last copy before you. For millions of people, that ritual had a name: Blockbuster. 65 million customers, 9,000 stores, a brand worth billions. Gone. Not because the world changed too fast, but because the people in charge chose to let it die. This is the story of how the world's biggest video rental company destroyed itself. Not all at once, but one decision at a time. The Empire. Blockbuster was founded in 1985 in Dallas, Texas. At the time, video rental stores already existed, but most were small, chaotic businesses. Limited selection, messy shelves, almost no system for tracking inventory. Blockbuster changed that. Stores were bright, organized, and standardized. Shelves packed with hundreds of titles. Computer systems tracked rentals and availability. Customers could walk in and actually find the movie they wanted. It felt modern, reliable, professional. By the early 1990s, Blockbuster was the largest video rental chain in the world. At its peak, Blockbuster had tens of thousands of employees and served millions of customers every week. Friday night had become a ritual, but beneath the success, the business had a hidden weakness. The business model built on punishment. Blockbuster didn't just make money from renting movies. It made a surprising amount of money from late fees. Miss your return deadline? Pay a fine, sometimes more than the original rental. By the early 2000s, late fees were generating roughly $800 million per year. That's not a side revenue stream. That's the engine. Customers hated it. Surveys made that clear year after year. But Blockbuster's financial model had become dependent on that hatred. When a business depends on customers making mistakes, it becomes very hard to redesign the system in a way that removes those mistakes. And that dependency would soon collide with a new competitor. The competitor nobody took seriously. In 1997, Reed Hastings founded Netflix. The idea sounded strange at first. Order DVDs online, receive them by mail, no due dates, no late fees. At Blockbuster's Dallas headquarters, it looked irrelevant. Who would wait days for a movie when you could drive 3 minutes to a store? Blockbuster's executives were making the wrong comparison. They compared Netflix to their stores. They should have compared Netflix to their customers' frustration. Because Netflix wasn't selling convenience. It was selling the absence of punishment. And that difference would become decisive. The man who almost saved them. In 2004, Blockbuster hired a new CEO named John Antioco. He understood the threat. He launched Blockbuster Total Access, online rentals, no late fees, with the ability to return DVDs at physical stores. It worked. Subscribers grew fast. Netflix was rattled. Reed Hastings later admitted that Total Access genuinely scared him. For a brief moment, Blockbuster was in the fight. But inside the company, patience was running out. The shareholder who changed history. His name was Carl Icahn, a billionaire activist investor who wanted immediate results. Antioco's strategy required absorbing short-term losses to build a long-term digital business. Icahn didn't want to wait. He pushed the board. Antioco was forced out. His replacement, James Keyes, arrived in 2007 with a different view. He famously said he didn't see Netflix as a threat. His plan, back to physical retail, back to the traditional model. The late fees quietly returned. The online program was scaled back. The one strategy that was working abandoned. The debt that made everything harder. There's another piece most people miss. Blockbuster was carrying nearly $1 billion in debt from earlier expansion and corporate restructuring. That debt wasn't just a number. It was a ceiling where Netflix could afford to lose money while building a future. Blockbuster needed to generate cash now. Short-term survival kept winning over long-term transformation, and the gap between the two companies kept growing. The fall. By 2008, Netflix had nearly 10 million subscribers and was expanding fast. Redbox kiosks appeared in parking lots, $1 rentals, no late fees. Blockbuster now faced competition from both directions. From above, a digital service with no stores and no overhead. From below, a machine in a parking lot that charged $1. Store traffic declined. Revenue fell. Locations closed. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Dish Network bought what remained for just $320 million. The company that once dominated home entertainment was gone. In less than a decade, 9,000 stores had become a memory. The lesson. Blockbuster's story is usually told as a story about Netflix, about streaming, about technology moving too fast. But technology wasn't the real problem. Blockbuster had the brand, the customers, the stores, the resources. For a brief moment, it even had the right strategy. What it didn't have was the will to commit to it. When a business model depends on customer frustration, it will always resist the moment that frustration disappears. When debt forces short-term decisions, the future becomes a luxury. When investors prioritize immediate returns, the people who see clearly get replaced by people who protect the present. Blockbuster didn't collapse because the future arrived too quickly. It collapsed because the people in charge kept choosing the past. One store remains in Bend, Oregon, a reminder that even the mightiest empires can disappear. Not because the world changed, but because they refused to change with it. If you want more stories about the moments where power, money, and decisions collide, like and subscribe. The next collapse is already waiting.